September 1940. The sky above London is on fire, but for millions of British citizens, huddled in damp, freezing Anderson shelters, the bombs falling from the Luftwaffe weren't the only deadly threat. Winter was coming, and the coal was gone. With strict rationing in place, fuel was a luxury few could afford. Yet, despite sub-zero temperatures and shattered windows, letting in the biting frost, the people of London didn't freeze. They survived. They didn't use modern heaters. They didn't have thick, expensive sleeping bags. Instead, they relied on a forgotten, almost primitive method of heat preservation, a makeshift survival hack pieced together from the rubble of their own city. A secret so simple, yet so effective, that modern survivalists are only just rediscovering it today. Welcome to Heritage Core. Today, we uncover the Lost Blitz hack that kept an entire nation alive in the dark. To understand the brilliance of this survival tactic, you must first understand the sheer desperation of the time. The winter of 1940 was brutally unforgiving. The British government issued standard Anderson shelters, corrugated iron structures buried in the garden. They were built to stop shrapnel, not the cold. Iron is a phenomenal conductor. In the dead of winter, the walls of these shelters became ice boxes. Condensation dripped from the ceiling, soaking into whatever meager bedding families had brought down. Hypothermia was a silent killer, creeping into the shelters. Long after the air raid sirens had stopped wailing, coal was strictly rationed for the war effort. Wood was scarce. Lighting a large fire meant breaking the blackout regulations, painting a massive target for enemy bombers. They needed a way to generate and trap heat without smoke, without light, and without fuel. The solution came from a deep understanding of thermal mass and insulation, knowledge passed down from the Victorian era, refined by necessity. It was a three-part system: the core, the trap, and the shield. First, the core. During the day, families would take ordinary clay house bricks, often scavenged from bombed-out buildings. They would place these bricks inside their kitchen ovens as they cooked their meager wartime rations. Clay is exceptional at absorbing and holding thermal energy. Second, the trap. Wrapping a hot brick in cloth would simply let the heat dissipate. Instead, Londoners turned to the most abundant material left in the city: old newspapers. They wrapped the heated bricks in layers upon layers of broadsheet newspaper. Paper is composed of wood fibers, trapping millions of microscopic air pockets. It acts as a perfect insulator, forcing the heat to release incredibly slowly over a period of 8 to 10 hours. Finally, the shield. They didn't just place the brick at their feet. They created a bivouac within the shelter, pinning blankets to the walls and stuffing the gaps with crumpled paper to stop the deadly drafts. Underneath this heavy canopy, the trapped air volume was drastically reduced. The wrapped brick was placed at the center. It acted as a slow-release thermal engine, gradually warming the confined space. While outside, the world was freezing over. Why did this work so flawlessly? It's the exact same principle used in modern aerospace insulation, just built with rubbish. The newspaper slows the transfer of kinetic energy. If you touch a bare hot brick, it burns you because it dumps its heat instantly. Wrapped in newspaper, the radiant heat is controlled. It creates a microclimate under the heavy woolen blankets. Today, we rely on central heating and electric blankets, but in a grid-down scenario, a winter power cut, or a true survival situation, modern tech fails immediately. The Blitz survivors proved that you don't need electricity to survive a freezing night. You just need thermal mass and trapped air. A simple scavenged brick and yesterday's news can literally save your life. The generation that survived the Blitz didn't just rebuild a nation. They left behind a masterclass in resilience. The next time the power goes out and the cold sets in, remember the forgotten tricks of 1940. What do you think is the most crucial survival skill lost to modern convenience? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to uncover more lost historical survival secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is Heritage Core. Stay warm, stay resilient, and I'll see you in the next chapter. But before you attempt this lost technique, you must understand the hidden dangers. The survivors of the Blitz learned the hard way that this simple trap can turn into a deadly hazard if you make one of these 3 fatal mistakes. Mistake number 1. the wrong core. Not all heavy materials are created equal. In desperation, some Londoners used concrete blocks or river stones instead of baked clay. This was a catastrophic error. Concrete and natural stones trap moisture inside their structure. When subjected to extreme oven heat, that moisture turns to steam, expanding violently. The result is a shrapnel grenade exploding inside your shelter. Red clay bricks, however, have already been kiln-fired, meaning all moisture has been driven out permanently. They will never explode. Mistake number 2. The moisture trap. Paper is only an insulator when it is completely dry. In the freezing, humid environment of an Anderson shelter, newspaper absorbs condensation like a sponge. If you wrap a hot brick in damp paper, the heat transfers instantly through the water molecules, creating scalding steam that can cause severe burns, and draining the brick's thermal mass in minutes instead of hours. The veterans knew to keep their newspapers close to their bodies, keeping them bone dry before wrapping. Mistake number 3. The silent asphyxiator. A brick is just baked earth. It consumes no oxygen. But when desperate people couldn't find a solid brick, they sometimes brought smoldering coals inside their shelters. Thinking it would act as a small heater, they unwittingly invited carbon monoxide into their enclosed space. Odorless, tasteless, and completely invisible. Many who tried this shortcut simply went to sleep and never woke up. The genius of the brick and newspaper hack was that it separated the combustion from the heating. The fire stayed outside. The pure, clean heat came inside. Fast forward 80 years to today, we believe we are insulated from such brutal realities. But vulnerability is just a broken grid away. In the winter of 2021, the Texas power crisis plunged millions into sub-zero darkness inside their own modern homes. People froze to death, steps away from their dead flat-screen TVs. If history repeats itself, how do you deploy this Blitz hack today? The principles remain exactly the same. You need a heat source. If the gas mains are still running, you can heat the brick on a low, steady flame. If entirely grid down, a portable camping stove will do the trick. Rotate the brick cautiously to distribute the thermal energy. For the trap, finding newspapers might be harder today, but standard junk mail, unglossed magazines, or cardboard boxes work perfectly. Remember, avoid anything with plastic coating, as it will melt, stick to the brick, and emit toxic fumes. Layer your paper thickly. 10, maybe 15 layers. Finally, create your microclimate. Don't try to heat a large master bedroom. It's physically impossible. Shrink your living space. Pitch a small tent on your mattress, or pull a heavy duvet entirely over your head. Place the thermal engine at the foot of your enclosure, and let the forgotten science of 1940 keep you alive while the modern world freezes outside. True survival isn't about expensive gear or complex electronics that fail when you need them most. It's about knowledge. The knowledge locked away in the minds of our ancestors, who faced the most brutal conditions in human history and won. The generation that survived the Blitz didn't just rebuild a nation. They left behind a masterclass in resilience. The next time the power goes out and the cold sets in, remember the forgotten tricks of 1940. Now I turn it over to you. What do you think is the most crucial survival skill, lost to modern convenience? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to uncover more lost historical survival secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is Heritage Core. Stay warm, stay resilient, and I'll see you in the next chapter.